So this one here, you can find on bbc.com, entitled "Female Child Sex Abuse Remains Taboo While Victims Struggle." Right? Victims of female child sexual abusers face enormous stigma and shame, according to police and charities. Figures from BBC Radio's File on 4 show there were over 10,400 reports of this type of abuse from 2015 to 2019, equivalent to an average of 40 per week. Experts say there was still a lack of understanding about the extent of such abuse. The UK government said it would not allow any safe space for sex offenders to operate, male or female. Between 2015 and 19, the numbers of reported cases of female perpetrated child abuse to police in England and Wales rose from 1249 to 2297, an increase of 84%. Interesting. Dr. Andrea Darling, a criminal researcher at Durham University, who has looked at 40 cases of male and female teachers who sexually abused students, said the File on 4 figures represent the tip of the iceberg. Interesting. She said that although all child sexual abuse was underreported, there was a particular lack of understanding of the extent of female perpetuated abuse. That means that potentially abusive behavior that may have been picked up if the perpetrator had been a male is explained away, she said. I've been seeing that consistently in my research. So here's the thing. We've been saying this for years. Appreciate that, Solus. Appreciate the support. All right, Kalanja Kala, thank you. Much appreciated. We've been saying this for a couple of years now, for a number of years, and particularly those of us in Black male studies, right? When you look at Dr. Tommy Curry, when you look at Dr. Ron O'Neill, myself, we talk a lot about the ways in which sexual abuse and intimate partner violence, when it comes to male victims, often goes overlooked, right? It's rarely mentioned, and there's still a great deal of shaming that takes place. Now, although this particular article is dealing with Europe, the phenomena itself is not limited by any means. And I report on it regularly here at the Onyx Report, so you guys know I'm constantly putting up videos and articles about these kind of incidents, because even though the articles and the videos are made, they're not really profiled to any great degree. And one of the things I try to say is that boys and men are vulnerable to abuse, especially if people know going into the situation that boys and men, particularly men, are going to be considered guilty just at the accusation. And even if men call the police, can pretty much expect to be either misunderstood, have the situation misinterpreted, or they themselves in handcuffs, even though they themselves have been abused. So, as this article points out, even though there's an increase taking place, there's no fanfare about it, right? You have an 84% increase from 2015 to 19, which doesn't include 2020, obviously, right? But an 84. So, and I say that because during the pandemic, you got people stuck at home, right? So the question becomes, did those abuse record numbers go up in 2020? More than likely. But I tripped up on this article, let alone anything about. So I'm simply saying that, when it comes to looking at males as victims of sex abuse, victims of child abuse, when it comes to female aggressors, we have to change the culture. And this is not about denigrating women or focusing solely on women. I think there's an ample amount of attention in the last 50 years paid to male aggressors. Right? Male aggressors are the face of abuse, period. But when it comes to male victims, there's no conversation. And when you talk about post Me Too culture, cancel culture, so to speak, no real acceptance of male victimization in regard to that. And that includes children. You can check all my shows last year, and it might be safe to say that I don't know, maybe over 90%, of my shows, you'll see me report on a case of, teachers sexually abusing students, right? Female teachers in particular, and usually more than one in a given episode, right? Even though I'm running up on them organically, I'm not even going out to look for these. I just find them organically. They just show up in my stream, you know. And so when I report on them, one of the things I notice is even in the titling, they don't call it rape. They call it sex. I'm surprised the title of this article used abuse, but most of the time it'll say teacher has sex with student, right? 30-something-year-old teacher, 9 to 12-year-old boy. And I can tell you, I probably had a different perspective on this before I became a father. Changed a lot. Changed a lot. So that said, I'm glad we're starting to see these articles come out, but this is the tip of the iceberg. Moata, what's up, man? Good to see you in here. All right.